Hi, my name is Ben Sutter III, and I'm founder and owner of BS3 Radio. I've been podcasting for 5 years, and with BS3 Radio, it has grown to over 46,000 listens and downloads. I've helped hundreds of people to start a podcast by giving them the knowledge, tools, and confidence to be successful. Now I'm here to help you do the same with BS3 coaching. So let's build a successful podcast. I will be your podcast coach. We'll be able to work one-on-one. I won't be giving you a booklet and just telling you to look over it, but we'll be working one-on-one, side by side, to either help build up a successful podcast or to take your podcast to the next level. So click the link above or below to check out the pricing. I look forward to working with you, and God bless. Welcome, everyone, to Monday night's edition of BS3 Radio Live. Every Monday, we do a recap of the Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League. This week, we're talking about Week 13. Great to see that the games were back. If you're not aware of what I'm talking about, Creating Young Minds is a basketball league that is based out of Louisville, Texas. I'm in Texas. And they have this Undiscovered League, which they've been playing over the past few weeks, which has been very entertaining. It's also been some really good basketball. So this was Week 13, and we had some new teams involved. We also had some usual teams that were there, but it was some great basketball. We also got highlights tonight, so stay tuned for that. The website down below is where you can check out the games in the future. The next game will be a set of games will be on next Friday, and that'll be from 4 to 7 at the Macedonia Care Center in Louisville, or you can go down below to check out the games. Shout out to Mocha Bella in the building. Thank you for tuning in. She says, good evening. Also, my man Michael Lenoir, which I'll be talking about him tonight. He is one of the top players in this league. Just a flat out beast. Appreciate you, Mike. And also I interviewed him on a past show, so you can go over to YouTube and you can find that video there. Also subscribe, click that bell, be on top of all the great content. So we had 4 games. We had the Undiscovered team versus the Waco Prospects. Then we had Louisville Black versus the Phenoms. We had the Pros versus the PSE Prospects. Then we had EA Hoops versus the Prospects. So we had a variety of teams. The Waco Prospects was a new team that participated in Saturday's games. And they consist of a few players of the Waco Royals TBL team. And they're going to be coming into the TBL, which is the basketball league. So that's what Louisville Leopards, that's what they're a part of. So you'll be able to check out games, the basketball league in the future. So let's get into the first game, which, like I said, very entertaining games. These guys work extremely hard. They are trying to have an opportunity to play either overseas. They're looking for an opportunity to play in the NBA, in the G League. And, this league is a mixture of young and old. So some young guys, some old guys, some in the middle that are looking to continue to build their career in basketball. And I think that's one of the most amazing things about this league. And also they support each other. And that's one thing that I truly respect. All right, so the first game was Undiscovered versus the Waco Prospects. Michael Lenoir, he is the one that's in the chat room. He's watching on Twitter, and he was getting it early with a 3. A true point guard, one of those guys that you can count on to dish the ball out, but also score if needed. Very smart. He does double time. So not only is he the starting point guard but he's also does the commentating, and it's always great to hear his takes. Some of it is hilarious, and always great to hear that. Also, Balsa Bolshevik, let me give him a shout out. He had a quick 3 at the beginning of the game. I really, early on, I respected the ball movement. I respected the ball movement a lot for the Waco prospects, and it was good D. It was good defense on both sides. You could definitely see that. Chase Winchester, shout out to him with a nice 3. Man, one of those guys with that sweet lefty shot. There's just some guys that, you can count on to have a killer 3, and that's one of these guys. With Chase Winchester, you can count on him to have that stroke. It's just some guys that they're lethal shooters, and he is one of those guys. So again, shout out to him. The Waco had trouble going point for point with Undiscovered. Undiscovered, if you're not aware, and like I said, you can click the link down below, or actually go to that website. You'll be able to check out some of the games. But this Undiscovered team, the thing about them is they run and gun. You cannot play around with this team. You cannot get behind with this team, because they will blow you out, and you will be forced to have to play from behind. And that's not something that anybody wants to do, because when you're playing from behind, that just makes it even more harder for you. And that's just makes it at a huge disadvantage when you're trying to play from behind, especially when you're going up against this particular team. And, one thing I've continued to find out every single week is the Coach Mathis Crowder, he will yell at you when you make a mistake. He also congratulates you when you do something good. So at the end of the first quarter, it was 19-6. Undiscovered was up. Waco's their turnovers was something that was hurting them. You could tell that either maybe they haven't played together in that collective group, or they just weren't able to play sound basketball without making turnovers. It was a good back and forth, buckets going back and forth in the second. Waco getting a lot of free throw attempts, which was positive, but some of those they just weren't able to capitalize on. It was 32-17 at halftime. Undiscovered. Again, the best team in this league, hands down, the best team in this league. They're physical. They run and gun. They're up and down. They will do whatever it takes to dominate the game, and they run, run and gun, like I said. The Jetpack J, Jared Henderson, catches a body. We could get to that highlight in a minute. One of the best dunkers I've ever seen, period, point blank. If he's got room, if he's got a lane, you're going to get dunked on if you try to get in his way. One thing I did also see is that Undiscovered is playing on both sides of the ball, which I kind of touched on that. The end of going into the fourth, it was 56-26. 56-26. Shout out to your boy Jared. I believe that's Jetpack J right there. We could get to his highlights here in a minute. But it's always great to see how well these guys play and how well they play together. Don't worry about the background. It did go out, but don't worry about the background. We'll keep it going. Winchester with 4 threes by the fourth quarter. Like I said, that sweet lefty shot, man, it's hard to guard that. And he's one of those pure shooters. And Undiscovered just took over. At the end of the day, they just ended up taking over, and there was really nothing that the other team could do. And I don't think the Waco Prospects maybe has even come up against a team like this. So it was 65-33. Undiscovered wins. I think one of the good games of Saturday, but it was a blowout. But that's what they do. So let's get to the highlights. so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This first one is Tremaine Thomas. Check this one out.
Come on, man.
Getting his rebound, putting the shot back up. You can hear Coach Mathis Crowder yelling, "Get up, get up." He's always yelling, "Get up, run." It's that run and gun, man. It's hard to defend. It's not one of those things that teams are used to or ready for. And I think that's the biggest thing. All right, we got Chase Winchester here with I believe this is the corner or the side three. That's sweet lefty. What I tell you, that sweet lefty. That shot will go in the majority of the time. Then we got Michael Lenoir. We brought him up. I just mentioned him earlier. And this is a highlight from him with a three. I believe this one, this one's a three from the top of the key. A pure stroke. That's a pure stroke right there. That's one of those guys that will, like I said, he will score when need to, but also he will get an assist, when need to. He's a true point guard. Also, Bolshevik with a corner shot. And excuse me, that was a pump fake. He had a pump fake and ended up going to the hole. Another one of those top players in this league. One of these guys that plays on both ends, getting rebounds, and just one of those physical guys, a true physical guy. And he's normally leading the team in rebounds or leading the game in rebounds in the most instances. Here goes Jarrett Jetpack J. What I tell you, if you got a clear lane, it's going to be a dunk. No way around it. Whatever you try to do, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a dunk. Trey Patterson also with a dunk to the lane. Yeah, if you've seen that guy that was going to attempt to get in his way, obviously you could see that he wasn't going to really do that, and he got out of the way because he was a full head of steam, and it wasn't no stopping that. So those are some highlights from the first game. Also, we got Jarrett Jetpack J. Let me get to this one. Catching a body versus the Waco Prospects. Why did you jump? I get it. You want to try to defend, but Jared Jetpack J, one of those guys that's going to slam it no matter what, no matter who's in the lane. It's going to be a dunk and it's going to be a poster. All right, let's get to game number 2, Louisville Black versus the Phenoms. And a lot of these players play on the Louisville Leopards. Also, they play in the TBL, which is the basketball league. You can look up both of those. Go to creatingyoungminds.org. The website down below is where the games will be played or where they will be streamed at during the next 2 weeks, which the next 2 games are on Friday. But the basketball league, make sure you look that up. Marcus Brooks with an and one early as we talk about the game 2. Jesse Williams and Marcus Brooks with a good connection early. I was pretty impressed with what they were doing. Louisville Black, the defense was popping, is what I wrote down, just because they were D'ing up. They weren't allowing any easy points. They weren't allowing any easy buckets. Marcus Brooks showing his dominance. Also a new player that just got drafted by the Louisville Leopards, like I said, in the TBL. His name is Aziz Fadika. He was getting some run. I could tell that in the commentator, which was Michael Lenoir, what kept saying that, man, he just plays fundamental basketball. He plays fundamental basketball. He's ready and willing to do the dirty work and to do those things that maybe other players may not want to do. And you could just see how he was playing in this game. Before I go any further, excuse me, I didn't give you the stats on the previous game. So Tremaine Thomas had 9 points, 5 rebounds, 4 steals for the undiscovered team. Michael Lenoir had 4 points, 8 assists. Jerry Henderson, 10 points, 5 for 5 from the field and 8 rebounds. Trey Patterson, 16 points. And Chase Winchester, 15 and 3. And then Kari Buford had 12 for the Waco Prospects. And Kari Faheed had 10 points. So that was the stats from the previous game. But, the first round draft pick for the Louisville Leopards, Aziz, getting some minutes. And you could see why they drafted him. He just seems like one of those guys that's going to be around the ball. So the Phenoms, like I said, Aziz was a new player. He was making his presence known, and that was one thing that I was impressed about. At the end of the first, it was 21-10 Louisville Black. The Phenoms, Antoine Portley, he was getting buckets. I would say he's one of those players that is extremely confident about himself. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but also it wasn't a lot of ball movement. Phenoms coming back in the second. I was wondering, how is this going to go? How are they going to be able to keep this up? And it was 35-27 halftime. Louisville Black was up. My man Kevin, Big Shot. This is my nickname for him. I don't know if anybody else calls him this, but Kevin Big Shot Booze, he started to heat up. Always impressed with him and watching him whenever he plays. I think extremely talented and one of those guys that can get buckets. Michael Williams. Shout out to Michael Williams. He was a new player that I hadn't seen playing for. That was for the Phenoms. He was hitting big shots throughout the game. Definitely was impressed by that. Nice pick and roll with Aziz. And I wrote down, man, he was just killing it. That pick and pop, that pick and roll, he was really dominating that. And I was truly impressed by him. And I wrote down, can the Phenoms come back? That was my question to myself. And as I was watching the game, and the answer to that question was no. They could not come back in that game. And they end up losing. I wrote down too much D and made shots for Louisville Black. They end up winning 74. Make sure I get that right. Yep, 74 actually to 50. And you could just see that they were clearly the better team. Sometimes it goes that way. Sometimes it is just frankly not your day or not your night. And you got to deal with that. The third game was the Pros versus the PSE Prospects. They're out of Memphis. I was kind of looking forward to seeing this new team. One thing I got to say, man, C.J. Carter. C.J. Carter, former NBA player, played in the G League with the Texas Legends, also played for the New York Knicks. An extremely talented guy. Extremely talented. He did some workouts with Kobe, actually played with Kobe, trained with Kobe, and you could tell. I mean, he just is, when he is down on the low post and when he makes that spin move or he makes that move, it's hard to guard, and he is just, I think, one of the best players in this league and fun to watch. So C.J. Carter was going early. It was really, this game as a whole was really slow early. But, you know, it is what it is there. And I do apologize. Let me get back. Let me get to the highlights from the previous game. We do have some highlights from the previous game. We got Marcus Brooks with a dunk. Nice move, boy. And actually, that was the and one by Marcus Brooks, but you can see with the steal and a nice layup there. Then we also have Kevin Big Shot Booz versus the Phenoms. So Kevin Booz, that's your new nickname. If anybody calls you that, that was from a couple of weeks ago, man. You were just hitting major shots. Then we got Gabe Hobbs with a nice layup, nice drive to the hole. Playing extremely well, being able to get to the hole. He had 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists in the game. And also we have Curry with a nice dunk in the game as well. Nice dunk down low, nice assist. You know, it doesn't get any better than that. So let's get back to the third game, which is the pros versus the PSE prospects. Like I said, a really low scoring game, but CJ Carter was the man. CJ Carter pretty much took over in the game. He had 24, 7 rebounds, 1 steal. And he was going all night long. Frankly, he anytime he had opportunity with the ball, you were figuring it was going to go in. Also, you were figuring he was probably going to dunk the ball because this was his day. This was definitely his day. It was 19-10. The pros lead in the first. My man Yash Matu playing on both sides. I was appreciating his play, and he had 12 points. This kid is 18 years old, so really impressed with his play throughout yesterday. Aziz was, like I said, the first round draft pick. He was also playing in this game for the PSC prospects, so really giving him some run, which I thought was good, also important. William Stanford for the PSE. He was getting some run as well. He is the second round pick of the Louisville Leopards. He had 9 points, 5 rebounds. Second round draft pick out of University of Mobile. CJ Carter with the mid-range. It was pretty much going all day long. His mid-range game was so on point. It was 38-30 in the third. You were starting to think, hey, can they maybe, this is PSC, can they maybe get back into the game? They weren't able to make the run, and CJ Carter just couldn't be stopped. So they ended up ending 57-43 for the pros. That was game 3. Let's get to the highlights. CJ Carter, I got 2 from CJ Carter. Like the person said in the background, it's too easy, man. It's true. It was just too easy for him on Saturday. Let's go to CJ Carter with the dunk. Man, him cocking that thing back, that was a beautiful dunk right there. So we got 2 highlights from CJ Carter. Like I said, he ended with 24 points, 7 rebounds, 1 steal. For PSE prospects, the leading scorer was Daryl Bowie out of Ottawa University, 13 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. And let's get to the last game. And as we get into this last game, I want to give a shout out to Abraham Davalos of the prospects. He was just one of these guys, man. I've been seeing him on social media. I wanted to make sure I shouted you out, that you've been working on your game. I see you doing the videos. I see you working out, trying to improve on your game. So I wanted to make sure I gave you that shout out. Nick Iniguez with an early 3. Quinn on the prospects was getting to the hole. Just one of these guys that you could just tell that he had game. I wrote down he had game. Good ball movement by the prospects. Nick Iniguez with a big 3. Also Keith Smith. Shout out to Keith Smith. Every single time Keith Smith is playing extremely well. Every single game, he's going to be the first or second scorer. Prospect starting to forge a comeback in the fourth. It was not enough. The EA Hoops team won, and they end up winning the game 53-45. Keith Smith with 19 points. That kid's 18 years old. Nick Niez with 12 points. And the prospects, Quentin Campbell, he played in Lithuania, Argentina, and also Cyprus. He had 10 points, 4 rebounds. Let's get to a couple of the highlights that we have. We have one of Quentin Campbell with a nice play here. So that was one of the plays. And then also we have another one. Let me pull that one up real quick. It was Keith Smith with a nice 3. This kid truly has game. No doubt about it. As that's pulling up, here you go. Just a sweet shot, sweet jumper. So those were the games of the Undiscovered League Week 13. Tune in next week. It'll be on Friday. So Friday, the 12th, 2021, from 4 to 7 at the Max Sports in Louisville, Texas. You can watch it live in person, or you can click the link down below, or go to the link down below, creatingyoungminds.ustream.io, so that you can check out that game. So thank you everyone for tuning in to the recap of week 13. And I apologize, I got week 12 there, but week 13 of the Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League. I will be back next week at the same time. Stay tuned if you're watching whatever platform you're watching on. The next show or next segment that's going to be coming up will be reviewing Coming to America 2. And you are so welcome. CYM Basketball. I love what you guys do. I love supporting, and I want to continue to do this. I respect what you guys do, the game, what you do outside of basketball. So stay tuned. We'll be reviewing Coming to America 2, or Coming to America, the number, with a couple of guys, myself, David Wilkes, Dawkins, also H-Rap B. So have a good rest of your night, and see you on the flip side in a couple minutes. Peace.